Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. We hope you guys are doing well.
Hi, you guys. We hope you're doing super, super well.
Yes, so these times obviously are very, very challenging for, well, pretty much, I would say, the majority of the planet as we're going through these amazing times of change. And I just want to invite everybody, if you haven't, go on to our website. It's evolutionaryenergyarts.com. Pretty simple, and please go and check it out. Now, we're going to be talking about Saint Germain. Oh, no, not that Saint Germain. Let's see here. That's Saint Germain. Yes, that's Saint Germain. Now, many people have heard of Saint Germain. He is a fascinating one. He is a very, very interesting individual. Some say he's an immortal. Some say he's an ascended master. Some said that he was a charlatan. Some said maybe he was a vampire even, because he has popped up in history throughout time and been just such a interesting figure in history. And yeah, there are actually historical references to him. So what is the story of Saint Germain? Well, this time we wanted to do something a little bit different, because in reality, what we've gotten from the guides is, Cindy is very, very highly gifted and maybe one of only less than 12 or so people on the planet that has the ability to connect to such a high degree. So Saint Germain today started to appear in our meditations and around us. And actually, we just got back from a hike at the lake, and twice I said, "Oh my God, you smell that? It's like just beautiful wildflowers or something." And you said,
It was Saint Germain. He was letting you know he's near you.
yeah. So that was amazing. I mean, because we have a lot of lilacs around the area, but this was different, and it was so strong. And around the saints, often there has been reported the smell of such scents like roses. That's been common with many of the Marian, the appearances of Mother Mary, and as well as other saints too. And so that was really something that was fascinating that I'm only putting together now as we're talking about it. Basically, he wanted to just share the power of different frequencies and different colors. And so in many traditions, they talk about the violet flame. And in many different traditions, Saint Germain is invoked with the power of the violet flame, because it is most definitely powerful for our ascension. It's a powerful tool for ascension.
Oh, extremely powerful. He likes to use that one. It's one of his favorites. I'm not sure what brought that up, but it's just the color that I saw in his vibration that I got from it.
Yeah, and you were saying specifically, like what I've used before when doing healing work, energy work. If somebody has an infection, whether it's viral or bacterial, I'll make sure that I envision like a lightning flash and the colors around the lightning. That is a very, very powerful antiviral, antibacterial tool to use in energy healing. And you that are familiar with energy healing, Reiki, Pranic healing, Qigong, quantum touch, and we could go on and on with different systems, may know that different colors are different frequencies. It's just that simple. That's a scientific fact. Different colors are resonating at different frequencies. And violet is the highest on our spectrum here, on the physical spectrum. And so it can be a very useful spiritual tool as well for the ascension process. And just as an aside, typically, a typical case with people, I'll usually run a crystalline green, like a real vibrant green. Think of the Irish hillside. That first, because that color will help to dislodge and unclog stagnant energy. It also starts the healing process. It's gentle. It can be used for gently charging chakras. Although on the upper chakras, I only really use violet or white. And so I'll typically start with that green. If there's a lot of pain involved, I'll use a sky blue. And then I'll go to the violet to help the ascension process and people raising their vibrations, and often would seal the whole healing process in a golden light, which is a very high angelic frequency, which also will hold out negative frequencies as well. Now, Saint Germain is most definitely, in my mind, I view him as an ascended master. You know, he's somebody that has ascended to where he doesn't have to be here, as the majority of people on the earth at this time are kind of trapped in that 3 and 4D loop. They're here or they're on the astral plane. They're on the astral plane or they're here. They're back to the astral plane, then they're back to here. Now, what we have gotten is that he can, he's out of the body currently. Mm-hmm. I had asked you, I said, when was the last time he was physically in the body? And you got
18. I got the number 18, so I'm feeling like 1800s because of the look of the buildings that I see.
Yes. And, you know, he was thought to be perhaps integral in the French Revolution. Does he have anything to say about that?
He wanted to assist people in how to just live better lives, be better human beings, how to help people just get along. I don't know what to say. The emotion that I'm getting is one of cooperation.
Cooperation. Yeah, when we know that there has to be changes, and I'm sure he saw the revolutionary process coming and wanted to make it one that was more peaceful, mm-hmm. instead of what it turned out to be, mm-hmm. you know, which was the guillotines in the street and everything. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, so that was the last time that you see him physically here. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what is he seeing now, and what is his message for us now? And this is how typically we'll do it after a meditation. After we both meditated, we've gotten some inkling of who wants to speak to us. Cindy has been avoiding going into full trance because it's so taxing on her system until she is in a stronger state and we're rooted in a house and a normal routine. But she still can communicate, as she does with, you know, people that have passed on and other entities as well that want to help the planet, because there are a ton of them out there right now that want to help.
Yeah. And he, like the others, he really wants people to reach out for his assistance. He will be there. All you need to do is open your soul to him, and he likes to teach. He's a teacher. He likes to teach about cooperation. He likes to teach about things that are going to make people healthier. He's quite advanced when it comes to longevity. So, yeah, he has a lot to share if we're just open to hearing it.
Yeah, we had gotten the other day too, when I had asked, you know, Cindy about Yeshua and what were some of the things he was doing. You saw him teaching thousands of angels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does. He teaches a lot of angels, things about how to work with humans. Actually, he teaches them these things, which is nice.
Yeah, and so, as we've also shared with you guys, there is an angel that comes by on a regular basis that we call John, and he works under the Archangel Gabriel. And interestingly enough, usually he comes by when we do the mantra to Lakshmi, who is basically a very, very benevolent Hindu goddess of prosperity, but of prosperity and abundance, not just of physical items and things, because those things really aren't important to us, so to speak. Just means to an end to have basic shelter and things like that. But it's abundance of love, abundance of peace, enjoying the nature that's around us, having having appreciation for even the elementals that are maintaining everything around us, because there are elemental beings that are maintaining everything you see, every little flower, every tree, every person. You have elemental beings that are assigned to you. And if they weren't working on you, you wouldn't be. Just like if your, chakras weren't there, neither would you be there. You can't exist without them.
Right. She's all about spiritual substance.
Yes. And so what we got that is that Saint Germain now, that he's out of the physical body, is mostly on 4, 5, and 6D. He could go as high as 6D.
Yeah.
But you said he enjoys, like so many of them, enjoy actually 5D.
He does. It's kind of, it might sound silly to some, but it's just enough of a challenge for him, but it's still very rewarding.
And enjoyable. And what we have gotten is, think in terms of magic and what you see in, say, Harry Potter and, so many of these other magical stories throughout the ages, where you do have all sorts of beings interacting, all sorts of wild creatures around you. You want to learn the ability to fly, things like that. I mean, everything manifests so much quicker, so much easier. It's a much more fun and positive environment. And it still has some density to it.
Yeah.
Whereas, this is the densest plane that beings like us exist on. There is 2D and 1D below us, the foundational realms, so to speak. But this is the densest. So we have the most polarization between yin and yang going on in here. And as you go up through the densities, there's less of that polarization. But at the same time, just, you know how, say, great food tastes, like the perfect spaghetti sauce, if you like spaghetti, or the most delicious ice cream you can imagine. Well, there are those things on 5D, but it's a little different than here.
Right. It is a little different there. Gosh, it's hard to explain. When I see things like in a state of, okay, everything on earth that we see is kind of in a state of decay. So whatever we're looking at, even if we're looking at flowering flowers, trees, everything is still in a state of decay. So when you go up in the higher realms, even just on the other side of the veil, things are in a state of growth. So they're sparkly, they're growing, they're living. That's the best I can really explain it.
Okay. What other, if there are any other ascended beings, masters, divine personas, angelic beings, does Saint Germain work with the closest? Which ones does he interact with the most, or is he more of a loner?
They're showing me he's more of a loner because he wants to work with more humans in a sense. So he doesn't necessarily group or work with other ascended masters as much as he likes to work with human beings.
With humans. And so what messages would he share with us about these times, and specifically perhaps what we might find occurring in the next, the rest of this year, the rest of 2021? What does he get that we should be aware of, and how could we best prepare?
Prepare for the ascension. Prepare your physical body. His biggest thing is about taking good care of your body. Watch what you put in your mouth. A lot of things are numbing our senses. They're numbing our ability to know what's good for us and what's bad for us. So that's his biggest message. And also reach out to him too. If you're lost and you're not feeling, you're not understanding what to do, if you're lost and insecure, reach out to him and he'll be there. He'll come to you. He'll bring you answers. He'll cloak you in that beautiful electric purple and help you find the answers that you need.
And these beings really will. That's the thing. And it's so sad that in the fundamentalist mindset, they're terrified and automatically view benevolent beings like Saint Germain as negative. But it's because there's no discernment there. There's no true discernment. They haven't basically they haven't initiated their kundalini, they haven't opened up their chakras, they haven't developed the ability to see, feel, and sense energies and vibrations and frequencies so that you can tell, what is demonic, dark, evil, or even indifferent. Like I had shared with you when I woke up and saw the tall gray over me, he was very indifferent. He didn't feel demonic. I've felt very demonic energies and have banished many through different banishing rituals and techniques. That gray didn't feel demonic. He just felt totally clinical, sterile. He's doing a job. He had no emotions regarding it. But when you feel the energies of a Saint Germain, when you feel them of a Babaji, of a Yeshua, of, Lakshmi was definitely all these beautiful Isis, white buffalo calf women. These energies, these are very benevolent beings. They don't work against each other. They work against the dark side. They work against anything that's going to keep humanity in the dark. And so many of the people that are in the fundamentalist mindset like that, they're terrified to open up their chakras. They're terrified to initiate kundalini. They think it's all demon possession. But in reality, they're the ones that are susceptible to being demon possessed. And we've seen that manifest itself in the form of the witch hunts, the persecution of the indigenous people of the Americas. And in so many, the Crusades, we could go on and on, all these different wars that never end. It's because they haven't opened up their chakras. They haven't initiated the kundalini. They don't have discernment because they're also on BIGPHARMA, which deadens all your abilities. Perhaps they're, drinking Coke, eating Big Macs. As we had somebody make the comment today of the title, psychic abilities, ? Like they didn't think there is such a thing. Well, that's because they're totally shut down. They have no concept of perception of it because they probably haven't experienced much, or if they experienced something, they were too afraid of what it might be to delve deeper because of their conditioning. And so in reality, what they're doing is they're propagating the system of the ILL. You could fill in the rest of it, right? The controllers. They're the ones that actually understand all these things, utilize them to their benefit, but put everybody else that will believe in their mindset into a state of fear so that they'll never develop their perceptions, their ability to perceive the energy bodies and see things like auras or the life force floating around all around you. And these benevolent beings, they have to be asked. Ask and you shall receive. They will not intrude on your free will. The dark side intrudes all the time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, they don't mind.
Not at all. Do you get from Saint Germain some of his other times of incarnations that he was here? Has he? How many times has he incarnated on Earth? Or
Not a lot. Just I'm feeling just a handful of times. He came down as an ascended master just to learn more about emotions, about the human body, about how to work with people so that he could take that information up and then expand it out to other beings to help people ascend for this time. So it was very calculated the few times that he did come down to do experiments with himself. And now he's up there at where he's at and helping to spread the word for other beings to help us through this time of ascension, because it's probably the most difficult time that there is when we're starting to move into the photon belt. Old things have to fall away, new things have to come in, and it's extremely painful. And he has gone through that. He understands the pain of that, and he has help to offer. That's why he really wants people to reach out to him.
And is it okay just to simply just call on his name?
Yeah.
And just, Saint Germain, we ask for your aid. Saint Germain, please give us clarity, help us to ascend.
And then accept what comes in. So, if you see some really crazy synchronicities, or if something happens and you're like, wow, that was too much of a coincidence. No, it's not too much of a coincidence. Trust it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, once I had years and years ago, done like a full moon ritual, and I asked for a sign, and immediately there was like a knock on the door. It was crazy. It was like midnight, and I opened the door, and there was a cat there. I had never seen that cat before. It just looked at me, turned around, took off. And that's the type of thing that could happen. Back when I was in Ohio in 2015 into 20, actually I'd say from 2014 to 2016, I was working with Saint Germain and his energies a lot. And there was actually a group that was meeting once a week that I would go to, and we would basically draw down those energies. And I was having so many visitations in the middle of the night with orbs and different golden columns of light coming in, that I know that was a blessing and such an overwhelming sense of peace. And it was really helping me to get on my path. And, he definitely helped a lot. And again, these beings work together. As as far as like our guides go, Saint Germain has popped in from time to time, and probably has worked behind the scenes a lot more than we even know, I would guess. Babaji has as well. Yeshua has as well. Lakshmi and Ganesh. White Buffalo Calf Woman came to Cindy before we actually met. So there's many of them out there from all different traditions. It's just so closed-minded that, I mean, I can't fathom it, honestly, to see how one can think, well, all the saints just come from one lineage or one tradition. It boggles my mind that anybody could think that. That all the benevolent ones come only from one tradition. That's such a, unfortunately, small-minded human failure at perceiving the bigger way of things.
It is, indeed.
Is there anything else you feel like at this moment that you would want to get across to us?
No, no, not at this time, not right now.
So the main thing is the ascension process.
Oh yeah, take good care of your body. Understand what you're putting in your body. Don't be good to yourself. Take good care of your loved ones. But the ascension process is critical. He's been through it, and the number one lesson for him was to take care of the physical body.
Because it will transform and blossom into something amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for being part of the family. Thanks for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Make sure you're subscribed to both channels. If you need to book a session with us, it's evolutionaryenergyarts@gmail.com or EEARTS@protonmail.com. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.